very much, Axelle, and thank you one and all for joining us for this webinar. This is getting to be a little bit of a habit that Axelle and I are doing, and I'm very, very happy with that habit. This is a free 1 hour webinar called Writing Less, Meaning More, which I'm sure you know already. And ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of what we're doing here for this webinar is helping you with a 5-step process to write in a more compelling way. And I'm sure you've all come across bad business content. That's why we're here. The thing is, most business writing tries to sound intelligent, and it tries to sound professional, but the best business writing is the writing that still makes us feel something. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes business writing thinks it has to not make you feel anything. It's got to be all about the brain. But we just don't work that way, do we? Like we work with the brain, like the head and the heart, and often the hands as well. So that's the spirit of what this webinar is all about, trying to help you write in a more compelling way to make sure that you're writing less but meaning more, and to help others do that, to help your team, help your clients do that. Now, how are we going to do that? I hear you scream. Well, there is a 5-step process to do. Oh, and by the way, I should say, speaking of our Inking Abroad creative retreats, this is part of what we're going to be doing at the retreat coming up this 21st to 23rd of August in Berlin. And the reason why it's in Berlin is because there's this rebellious creative streak that the city is famous for. We're really going to tap into that. And so, yes, there'll be a lot of drawing, there'll be a lot of getting into the street art and that kind of rebellious creative nature that you see in Berlin. But there's going to be some writing involved as well, because this is what we do. Like we all want to have a better world for ourselves and at work, a better world for our team. And we need to communicate change in a more compelling way. So that's what this is all about. All right, so let's warm up. I am going to ask you to open up your chat window, and I'd like you to introduce yourself in a sentence of 6 words. Yes, 6 words in the chat box. Have a go at that. Thanks, Chris. Oh, wow. They're all coming in. Christine's coach, trainer, creative, inspiring, and wanting to inspire. Thank you, Richard. Yorkshire, projects, HR, lifelong learning. Love it. I draw for art living.
Yeah.
Creative
That's a nice one.
storyteller. Oh, a hot and a hot and happy organization coach. Love it.
Wow.
Collaboration alchemist who develops young leaders. Love that. All right, we have some other words now. This is all part of a warm up as well. So thank you everyone for doing that. We are leveraging cross-functional synergies to optimize customer outcomes. So what do you feel when you read that sentence? Throw some words into the chat. Synergize. What does it even mean? Bored. Too many words. AI generated. Yes. Empty marketing slate. Yeah, it's empty, isn't it? It's management speak. Complex, immensely forward. Not enthusing. Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah. Now, how about this version? We stopped working alone. Customers noticed. What do you feel about that version? Makes you curious, much clearer, better. Yeah. Now I understand. Thanks, Viveka. And I know you said before, I think you needed to read it again yeah, let me read this. Oh, Liev said, let me read this again. Don't get it. You know those times when you read text and your brain just fades out, and then you come back and go, I've got to read it again. And I've got to read it again. That's a real phenomenon. And we don't want people to do that. Excellent. Makes me curious. Incomplete. Interesting. Love that. Yes, clear, but has a US corporate flavor. Yeah, yeah. So if we have a look at these versions, version 1 and version 2, which one sounds more professional to you? Version 1 or version 2? Version 2, yeah, none. Yeah,
Define
yeah,
professional.
Christiana's got it.
Yeah.
Define professional. Yeah, the first one thinks it sounds more professional. It depends on context. Yeah, so what we sometimes not only the words are vague, but sometimes the audience or who are actually trying to pitch the words to is vague. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes what happens in business writing is we just default to this slide speak, this kind of general corporate blah, you know, that leaves us feeling empty and bored, and the words that we saw before. So I guess the take home here is professional is actually one of those nothing words. Like we don't actually truly know what we mean by professional. So thinking about this version 1 and version 2, which one are you more likely to remember? Second. Yeah,
Yeah. Everyone is
yeah.
very clear
Now,
about
there's lots of
story.
reasons why. How is that second version different? Like, what makes it more memorable? Any takes there? It's short, concise, yeah. It's more active, more concrete. Thanks, Susanna. Ah, thanks, Femke. Yeah, you can make an image in your head with it. Yes. If we were giving out prizes, I think I'd just be spraying you guys with prizes right now. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
sound default. Yes. Our,
Mm-hmm.
our brains like things that are novel, that don't sound default. Simple words, thoughtful towards the reader. Yes.
No prizes, Ross.
I'm sorry, no prizes today. No prizes, just the pleasure of our company and the pleasure of learning. There we go. Okay, now, next slide, Axel. Yeah, so as Susanna said, yeah, it's more concrete, and I think as Femke said, you can see it in your head and there's no jargon. And notice there's a before and after. We stopped working alone. What happened next? Customers noticed. So it implies a result. And our brains like cause and effect. This, then this. Now, you know how one of the things that AI generated text is infamous for is that pattern where it says, it's not this, it's that. Have you noticed that? You might have picked that up in AI generated text. And it's doing that because that happens a lot in content. Because as we know, it's sort of pulling out the average of the text that it has. And so it tends to favor these patterns. So that aside, there's this pattern of a before and after, cause, effect, result. So these are the things that it's good to bear in mind.
I want to quickly want to say something about what Jordan is writing. It's a hero's journey in 7 words, and I will come back to that later because indeed the approach is a little bit based on the 6 word stories of Hemingway. Um, yeah. The next one, we have another
All
example.
right. Another example. We are embarking on a transformational journey to enhance organizational capability. Or, version 2, change is hard, standing still is harder. What do you notice about version 2? Marketing like it's clean language, sounds like a universal truth. Interesting. Universal as in recognizable, perhaps. Hardship is acknowledged. Yes, yes. Sometimes corporate speak can be rhetorical. It doesn't acknowledge the world that the audience is in. It's just trying to enforce a new world. Catalina says it's explaining exactly what they are aiming for, change despite the difficulty. And Gwen saying, I still feel there's something I'm not being told. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And we'll find out that this aspect is going to come back as well. Yes, it's using human language or corporate language. Things like hard. It's hard. We don't need to try to professionalize the word hard. Just say it's hard. But standing still is harder. So it introduces this tension,
Mhm.
something to make you feel like, oh, that's a contrast from the first sentence, and it suggests that there's stakes. at hand. Like there's something worth fighting for. All right, time is marching on, but I hope analyzing these words helps you to start to get into the zone of where we're going to go now. So, in summary, when text has no jargon, it's more concrete. When it implies a result, when it has tension or there's something at stake, people understand it more, they feel more, they will connect more with your ideas, with that text. They'll remember more, and if the text implies it, they will do more. That's what we're aiming for here. Here's where you get to get your great ideas out from behind that corporate camouflage, all that stuff that makes you go, what? I don't understand. Where's the idea amongst all this? So here's where it's great if you have something to write on and something to write with. You will be writing. You can type if you want, if you're more comfortable to type. Over to you, Axelle.
Yes. So I was to make a small bridge to what Joran said before. It's a seven words hero's journey. I don't know if you know the urban legend because no one knows if it's true, but apparently Ernest Hemingway, the writer, once had a kind of bet going on, and he said that he could make a novel in 6 words, and the most famous one he wrote question mark is for sale baby shoes never worn. So this is a very famous sentence you might have seen somewhere, and it's a whole story in 6 words. And we looked at it and we thought, okay, what makes this a story? You have this tension, you have a person, there's this open gap we try to fill in, and a lot of things that you have said before in the chat you recognize in those 6 word stories. We don't want you to write 6 word stories or become Hemingway, but we looked at it just to learn how we can go from this jargon that people are using as camouflage. And by the way, camouflage is even increasing because of AI, because suddenly everyone became a writer even without doing any effort. So that makes it worse, and we have more words coming towards us. So we have 5 steps. We're going to lead you through those 5 steps. It's remove the camouflage, it's show me the movie, cut to the core, find attention, and create contrast. And you will be working. So I hope your brain is awake, not balled up by the hot summer in Europe. So first step is write a couple of sentences or a long sentence about a real business challenge you want to communicate, an idea or an initiative where you really care about. So something that comes in your mind that you want to talk about, but you don't know how to make it crisp and clear.
I just put mine in the chat. So everyone, feel free to put yours in the chat if you want to. You don't have to. I'll just put mine in just as another example.
I hope you have written something down. I will go to the first example. And by the way, this is not made up. This is true. It's from a company I helped this week. So I took one of the 4 ambitious goals they have in their mission goal and everything. I hope they're not in the room. And so it's focused on the employees. So they have to understand the goals. They have to be inspired by it. So that's the target group, just that you know.
The example that Axelle's got here is we maintain sustainable revenue, healthy margins, and a balanced cost structure across our customer segment. This strong financial foundation allows us to continue investing in our people, services, and future growth.
So that's the sentence. We go now to the first step. By the way, Carla, thanks for sharing yours. You have done already a good job in stripping the first step. Because the first step is remove the camouflage. So if you have your sentence, the first step we want you to do is to look at the camouflage that might be in it. Like, for instance, jargon, collaboration, leverage, alignment. Those are words that everyone uses and no one knows what it means. Even silos, we use it all the time. And I remember in one of the previous webinars we did that, someone said, what is even a silo? I mean, I don't know the word. You have filler words that we use all the time, like due to the fact, or basically this, or and then you have this typical passive language, business voice, where you're going to say like the stakeholders were considering buying instead of just they want to buy. So the first step is indeed to take all those words away that you think, if you would explain it to your mother or your grandmother, depending on your age, you would leave out. So leave out the words that you would leave out if you would tell it to your mother or grandmother. So underline them and replace them by words that you think everyone could understand. And that's why I said, Carla, that yours is already pretty good in that sense because it didn't contain any, or maybe mentorship program, I don't know, but it was already pretty easy to understand. So I give you a minute to take out all the camouflage words and replace them with words that people understand.
I just put mine in
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
In my first one, I said a lot of European companies want to divest from a lot of US big tech products because the current geopolitical situation is making them vulnerable to cost increases and security hacks. What I found when I stripped out some camouflage, I actually flipped it around so that the risky part came first. So it's getting more risky for European companies to use US technical products. So they want to stop.
And by the way, now I see that Susanna is asking Jorn to help him. So that's nice if the participants start helping each other.
Ah,
That's really cool. Okay, I will go in the sake of for the sake of time. I will go to the result for mine. So I basically had to strip away all the words that were in there. 80% of the whole sentence was jargon. So I stripped that away and I made this of it.
So after stripping that out and rephrasing some of it, Axelle's got, we make enough money, spend carefully, and don't waste resources. Because of that, we can keep improving our business and investing in our people.
So that's the first step. Strip away the camouflage. Now we're going to the second step. We're going to show the story. Like Jorn said before, it's a seven word story. So story means that you can actually see it. I remember, I think it was Femke before, she said, oh, it's easier to draw. And that's actually a really good way of looking at a sentence. If it's impossible to draw it, it's probably not good enough as a story. So you have to be able to see what's happening and to see the reality coming to life. So who is doing what? What are the real world objects you're seeing and who is doing that? What are the actions? So try to translate your sentence that you had to like a few short sentences that could be the script of a movie, basically. So try to write the actions that you see people do. And again, I will give you a few minutes for that, like 2 minutes or so.
And by the way, please don't think that you need to make it really short so far. Like that's not the aim of the game here. The aim of the game is making it compelling and memorable. Sometimes, yes, brevity, making it short, helps people remember. That's why marketing slogans work well. But right now, that's not what we're doing. We're trying to actually add meaning. As Axelle said, we're playing the movie, what's actually happening. So if you find you've got to write a bit more to turn an abstraction into a reality, that's fine.
Let's go to the movie. In the example that I wrote, and feel free to share yours in the chat like you did before. I made it very simple. We do good work and earn good money. We don't spend all the money. We reinvest in skills of employees and we keep on improving our service. So that's very concrete. What are we doing? What actions are happening in that first sentence that I showed? By the way, if you have questions about this step, feel free to ask. I see there's a lot of talking about the passive and active language. I have a very short story about that. I was a communication officer at the city of Antwerp before, and I remember the first report I had to write about the employment policy in Antwerp. I got back from the communication, let's say manager, and everything was read. Like basically my whole report was read. And she said it's completely written in the passive voice. No one wants to read that. So I'm like completely brainwashed in active writing. And I see that sometimes I read in the chat that sometimes in science, they prefer writing in passive language because then you can make statements out of it. But yeah, so it's probably different in every sector. But in communication, I was learned not to do that anymore. So that was the second step. So we play the movie. So first one was we take away the jargon. Second one, play the movie. Now we're going to the third step. We cut to the core. So what we're going to do now is you're going to cut your text, so the previous text, in half. You're going to strip out excess adjectives, so like very slow process, for instance. So that's an excess adjective, so that you combine different adjectives together. An explanation. So every explanation you have written in your story, you take out. And then if you don't have a result in your story, add one. Introduce something that sounds like a result. So those are the things you can do in this step. And normally you should end up with half of the words, more or less.
A quick tip I find for this one, read what you've got and then ask yourself, so what? It could be about a benefit. It could be about a risk. If it's a question, because I think at least one person is working with a question there, which is fine. Sometimes you can add so that, blah, blah, blah. All of them point to a result, something that makes the brain want to go, oh, what's next?
Nice, Christine. It's already 7 words. Oh, no, 8. Sorry, 8 words. Yeah, it's becoming much, much more crisp and clear. So my example of cut to the core was we earned good money today to keep improving our services. So that was basically my 4 things from the story reduced to a few words. Still pretty boring, I must say, but it will be improved. So the next one is attention, and that's where we make it less boring. So every story has tension. Without tension, we don't have a story. Imagine you go to a movie at the movies, 2-hour movie, and there's no tension. You probably fall asleep after 10 minutes. And I don't know if you ever read a book that it took like 50 pages before something happens or the tension goes up. Very often you put the book away and you don't look at it ever again. So tension is really important in a story. And it can be a surprise, it can be a contradiction, something you don't expect, but it can also be something that no one dares to talk about, like the elephant in the room, and that you want to bring in so that people are, triggered. Like in the beginning, some people said, I'm intrigued, I want to know more. That happens very often with tension. You want to know more. You get the chance now to take your sentence, so the cut to the core sentence, and find the tension that is there. You don't have to rewrite the sentence yet. We will do that in the next step, but you can just indicate, okay, what could be a tension aspect I could bring in here? Oh, Gwen, I love yours. It has already a lot of tension in it.
Sometimes it can be useful to dial up the drama. Even though you think there might not be a lot of drama, you can dial it up for that memorability and meaning.
Oh, I love that one. Your students are bored. Let them play so they remember. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. Talking about the elephant in the room, that people are bored in classroom or in meeting rooms. I think that's a big elephant in the room. Make your grandma an AI fan. I love this. So we have to save money to make money. So that was the elephant in the room. Sometimes people want to spend because they believe they can grow faster, but sometimes you first have to save money before you can grow. So now we're going to create contrasts. So we have the tension, but in the examples we showed in the beginning, you could also see there was contrast. There was a before and after. There was a more and less public and private, or something people expect but doesn't happen. Like the first example, the strategy looked perfect, but reality disagreed. So no one understands or does the strategy. So we're going to add a little bit of contrast in your short story. So you have your tension, and now think about the contrast. And I saw in the previous examples, I saw already some contrast. So some can maybe just dial up the contrast and build further on that. So try to think about potential contrast in what you wrote. And this is a final step. So now you should come to your final sentence that replaces your first sentence, basically. Oh, Gwen, I love it. You want to help finish what you start. Amazing. Oh, wow, Alicia. My grandma used to knit. Now she's vibe coding. Love it. You're all born storytellers. It's amazing. Hitchcock would be so proud. Yes, indeed. A lot of competition for him in the room here. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot for all these amazing examples, also to help each other. That's amazing to see. So my final result was spending less today, winning more tomorrow. So that's basically what the core of the message was, in a little bit more attractive way, according to me. So now we have this very, very fine, nice sentence. Of course, we know from Alan Pavio, who talked about dual coding, that if you add a visual to it, it sticks even more. So it doesn't have to be a very difficult visual, but if you could add some visual that makes your sentence stick better, you get the time for that. And I have here an example, and maybe Susanna, I don't know if you saw it in the social hub in Florence, in the shower, you had this sentence, and I will show you the visual in a second. So I love long showers, but since I've been in the social hub, every time I want to take a long shower, I see the visual that comes with this sentence, and I will show you here. So this is a visual. So you see, the sentence was already good, but adding that visual makes it so much stronger. So that's what you have to do now. I want you to create a visual that makes your short sentence even stronger. So you get, like, let's say 4 minutes for that. And you don't have to be an artist. Make it as simple as you want to make it. I already see a visual for that grandmother who is vibe coding.
I wonder what should be vibe coding.
Yeah.
Maybe a knitting app. Knitting patterns, yes.
Yeah, knitting patterns with code.
And if I could pull that sentence apart, I would imagine they went from, say, that abstract to reality, because let's face it, there's so much abstract language when we talk about in the environment and ecology and so on. But a polar bear, like, that's a thing you can point at and draw, you know. And that bear and the thin ice is so symbolic. So it works so well, but the words work well by themselves as well.
Yeah, it really combines everything what we did before. Also, the elephant in the room is there. Yeah. Oh, thanks for uploading it in the Susanna, I love yours. About the prisoner playing and thinking, is he thinking how he can escape prison, or yeah?
Magic. Thank you, Susanna.
Oh, roll. Yeah, nice, Joran. Yeah. Oh, so nice. With that prison and then sitting on that dice. Nice. Very funny. Nice. Okay, let's do 3, 2, 1 and show all the drawings together. So we have like a whole screen full of drawings. That would be nice for and I will take a screenshot from that. Okay. So the ones we're not showing yet, are you able to show something? Oh, okay, no problem. If you're not able to do it, then it's fine.
As I say, for Gwen and others, like if you struggle to put drawings to the words, I hope what you found in doing these steps is that by making things go from abstract to being more concrete, what we're doing is we're actually helping people to play your movie in their heads anyway. So even if there aren't the physical visuals, people can have more mental visuals when
Mhm.
the writing is clearer.
Yeah, indeed. So, to summarize, what we did was we removed the camouflage, we showed the movie, we cut to the core, we found the tension, we created contrast, and then we added the visual to it. So, maybe very short, what did you notice when you did this by yourself? What, just throw it in the chat. What happened with your way of thinking about the content? Maybe one or two few ideas about that.
Marta saying my mind started playing. That's good.
Mm,
I hope
it's really good.
that sounds good. And Owen saying open new directions for the message. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Christine saying the visual helped me better come out with better text. And Marta saying instead of writing the usual jargon, admin language, I left the usual box. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit challenging. And that's also something I want to say about it. So sometimes you're not going to run to the 5 steps, but you could already improve your writing a lot more just by saying, okay, what's the jargon that I can replace and how can I bring tension in? So only 2 steps already make it much better. So if you feel you don't have the time to do the whole thing, maybe just look for a few things you might improve. So um, yeah.
Mm,
And indeed, you have to think really clearly about what you're trying to say. That's really, really true.
yeah.
Nice. Thank
Gwen
you
saying
very much. Thank you.
this is the challenge that Axel and I want to leave you with. Where do you want to take this into your work? And another way of putting that is perhaps where is dead language costing you momentum in your work right now? And it's always nice to be specific. We've thrown up some examples here. Um, it could be the text you use in presentations. I know for me, it's got to do with strategy decks. I always catch myself, I start just all the fluffy language going on in a strategy deck that I don't need to do because I don't need to sound smart.
Mhm.
It could be training material, it could be communication to do with a change program. But I encourage you to find one particular area in your work that you can work on and make that language come alive.
Yeah, especially strategy and change. Oh, it's full of those jargon words. It's incredible. It's yeah. So I think 5 minutes before the end of this session, maybe just if you like this way of thinking, this is one of the exercises we are going to do in Berlin. So if you are triggered by this, some of the people in the room will be in Berlin. Even some of the people will come with a few colleagues. Thanks for that, Susanna. And if you say, okay, I want to have more of this and I want to spend more time with Axelle and Ben and a few others of this group, then this is your chance. You get even a little bit of a discount if you use the code webinar today. And we hope you like this. And as you know, for the frequent flyers, we do this often, this kind of webinars, and they're always for free and always hopefully inspiring. So we hope to see you again in the future. We can't tell when it is. It's always a little bit of a surprise for ourselves too. Um, Thanks a lot for being here. Feel free to share what you learned today on LinkedIn and tagging us, sharing your drawing that you made. And I'm wishing you all, or we are wishing you, a very, very nice weekend with a lot of sun and fun.
A big thank you from me as well, and especially the way that you were helping each other with each
Mm.
other's work in the chat there. Like that's just so cool to see.
Yeah.
As Axel said, we really hope this is useful for you. We hope you can put it into practice into your own work. So yeah, let's get out there. Let's make our communications more compelling. That's what it's all about to get to that change that we really want to see. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thanks all. Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.